Another day, another Elder Scrolls topic, and today we are going to be analysing the frickin' Ebony Blade. This sharp, destructive object which the Jarls of Skyrim seem to be keeping secrets on, but no matter, I am not its rightful owner. No, Maik, you don't own it. No, you don't have shares in it. This isn't a shared business. You lift your fists at me, Daddy. So, welcome my Elder Scrolls loving, Maik adoring, blade wielding, Thalmor slaying, straight up Irish subscribing friends to another Elder Scrolls video. I'm your host, Mofukin Riverwood Chicken. That's right, this chicken is hosting this show again. Show? Can you call this a show? I don't know. Who cares? Today, however, I've decided to see if we can analyze how powerful the Ebony Blade is. One of the daedric artifacts you can obtain in the Elder Scrolls. It's a very nifty sword. It's also incredibly strong, but I thought this would be fun. Pretty much every Skyrim player knows of this weapon, and it's always fun to analyze in the Elder Scrolls universe. Well, I find it fun to do, but make sure you head into the comment section and let me know what other questions we should take a look at and answer. I know you want to. Don't lie to me or I'll sick this badass Khajiit on you. Take off the hat. But enough babbling. Sit back and relax, my friends, as we delve into the question: how powerful is the Ebony Blade? So most of you are most likely familiar with the Ebony Blade from playing Skyrim. You gain a quest a little bit later into the game that allows you to retrieve it and use its raw power as your own. But this is not where it began. The Ebony Blade has been part of the Elder Scrolls series for over 20 years, literally making its first appearance in the Elder Scrolls arena, way back in the 90s. This blade has been part of Todd's life before Todd even became powerful. It's crazy. You can find this blade in either Valenwood or Skyrim in that game, and it tends to be very powerful no matter what game it's in. But it doesn't just stop at arena. No, it's also in the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall as obtainable too. You can get it by summoning Balala on the 13th of Frostfall at some witches festival and taking her quest to achieve its greatness. Greatness being some type of value of damage bishes, but again, it doesn't just end in Daggerfall. No, my friends, it's also in the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Again, retrievable from a quest given by Mephala, and you can reap its raw power to kill weaker bishes who don't contest with your power as the champion of Cyrodiil. You sneaky devil, you. Of course, it doesn't just end there. Again, my friends, it's in the Elder Scrolls Online. If you want to count that as canon, it's up to you. But while it's an ESO, it's not an interactable item. You can only touch it and see it for a quest. But this, my friends, brings us to the final game it's in, and a major topic of discussion in this video, and that is the Ebony Blade in Skyrim. Now, of course, we are looking at the Ebony Blade all around. We need to look at every corner. We are going to try and put a finger on how powerful the blade is by lore standards, not just game standards. It's a daedric weapon, so this means it has to be somewhat powerful. Also, it belongs to Mephala. She's pure badass, right, Maik? So I guess we will talk about the level of power this sword has in each of the Elder Scrolls games, and all we know to come to a conclusion on how powerful this daedric artifact really is. So let's give it a go and see where we come. I am going to go over its involvement in each game again, but in more detail and exact numbers this time, so nobody feels left out if you're a little fanboy of whatever you are. And it doesn't hurt to fact check the second time, so we don't make mistakes and we have explored all possible routes for the video. So like I said, the Ebony Blade has been in multiple Elder Scrolls games, starting with Arena and ending its most recent involvement in the Elder Scrolls Online, but let's start simple. Let's start with what we know in Arena, okay guys? So it's quite simple in its involvement in Arena. It does between 3 to 16 points of damage, weighs in at a whopping 6 points, and it has lifesteal as an effect. It can be found randomly in Skyrim or in Valenwood, and that's it. That's all we have to go on, and by the little bits of snippets of lore, we know it just saps the lives of those it touches, but it's okay, we'll delve into that a bit more later. But we move on to Daggerfall, and in Daggerfall, the blade can be obtained by doing a quest for Mephala at the Witches Festival on the 13th of Frostfall exactly. Yes, it has to be that specific, and when you obtain it, it does between 11 and 24 points of damage, a bit more this time round, and weighs in at less at 2.5 points in this game. Again, that's pretty much it, and not much has changed. It still belongs to Mephala, and she's still a bit of a bish. It retains its lifesteal ability, except this time it's also mixed with an energy leech and vampire touch, all combined into one, whilst also having fire silence and a plus 15 boost to long blade, you know, the long blade. It doesn't appear in Morrowind because, well, Morrowind sucks, but we move on to ESO because it really doesn't have much involvement in this game either. It only shows up to be all cool and sinister in a quest where you touch it. It can be found in the Crypt of Hearts in Rivenspire and is being used by a lich because liches are cool, and to summon this lich you gotta touch the sword in the dungeon, but no matter what you do you cannot use this sword. Sad face. Next up we have the best Elder Scrolls game, Oblivion, where the sword has its own quest to partake in called Mephala, and once you do this daedric quest you could use the sword, and I have to say it's pretty Talos damn good. It has 800 health, does 23 whopping points of damage, and weighs in at, holy crap, 46 units. It really is a unit of a sword, but it absorbs health, silences, and just makes you look much cooler to the bandits and goblins of Cyrodiil. It's pretty much the same as the other games, just a few stat changes and it looks a bit different. But last but not least, we have its involvement in the 5th Elder Scrolls game, Skyrim, and it is its own daedric quest that you could do to obtain it and use it to absorb the souls of fallen foe who you deem irrelevant, Nazim. It deals 11 base damage, weighs 10 units, and has changed to a two-handed weapon in this game. A wee bit of retcon in here, but that's okay. It also absorbs health while also being strengthened by the blood of Deceit, aka kill Sven, you get big sword. Sounds very menacing, doesn't it? Well, the sword has had a few retcons and changes throughout the games as we've seen, but we know this much about it. It belongs to the daedric god Mephala, it absorbs life from humanoids and any living creature, being strengthened by good souls, and it looks like a badass katana. So we know the Ebony Blade is a big evil sword. Mephala isn't the kindest soul around. All the stories of people wielding this blade always ended up leading to pain and torture, because the way it works is quite simple. Whoever wields the blade will slowly become corrupted by Mephala. That's what happened to an Altmer called Nerieneth, who uncovered the blade and decided to study it to see what he could make of it because he thought it was an Akaviri blade. Turns out the sword corrupted him and he ensnared the souls of his students and fellow researchers and made it so their souls would be tormented in oblivion for an eternity. What a nice guy, but this is the guts of what the sword does. It's known to corrupt and cause havoc for great men and women, and a mage even cast a spell on it to make it so it wouldn't stay in the hands of one person for too long at any one time to try and save as many people as possible. But eventually the sword ends up in the hands of Balgruuf the Great, you know, Jarl Balin, and he ends up trying to burn it in the Skyforge but fails because it actually ends up cooling the forge, and yeah, it's an evil sword, guys. He ends up just hiding it below Dragon's Reach, where his son ends up telling people he's been talking to a whispering lady, but then Dragonborn comes in and is all like, the heck is going on here? And Jarl Balin explains to investigate. You do you, and you end up helping out Mephala and taking the sword off Jarl Balin, and oh lucky the Dragonborn has sold their soul to another daedric god. This hero is slutting their souls for everyone. That's the real travesty of Skyrim. But yeah, that's all the stuff I can pretty much explain about the sword and where it's been. But I think it's time we have a look into the power of this artifact, or what we can at least come to. How does it compare to powerful artifacts like the Staff of Chaos? Does it even come close to being as relevant as Umbra, or the Amulet of Kings, or Azura's Star, or Merud's Razor? So many powerful items to look at and scale on a destruction level, but we best see what we can come up with and work with it. So we know the blade itself will absorb the life essence of anything it slashes, and it's not bound to any one person. It just drives them insane to the point where they are just doing the blade's bidding without even realizing it. The blade has been with multiple men and women, it's been with warriors and mages, and it's proven to eventually drive them all insane. Imperials, Bretons, and even high elves. Elves which should be mentally stronger than men. Now the blade is also said to slowly drain the wielder's life over time, meaning nobody is safe from the blade. This would probably make sense since Mephala is the daedric god of lies, and well, isn't that especially lying? In Skyrim the blade becomes stronger if you kill good-souled people with it. This does not include Nazim, Sven, or Nazim. God, I hate Nazim. But this blade really is just evil, but again the choice is with the bearer. The blade doesn't seem to actively affect the Dragonborn, and Balgruuf himself has also proven to not get tainted by the sword, even going as far as to hide it below Dragon's Reach. He seemed to grasp control over the weapon. However, his son didn't, and you can notice it's taking its effect over him when you speak to him because he's a little creep. So we know the blade taints those it touches and gets stronger depending on how many good Samaritans, Jesus, get slain by its touch. My English today gameplay, my friends. This alone makes it so it's powerful enough to be a powerful sword and has a powerful effect, but isn't really something I'd even compare to a destructive weapon like the Staff of Chaos or an artifact like the Amulet of Kings. It's more a smaller dose of power. I'd put it closer to the category of the Grey Cowl or Azura Star. It's a powerful tool in the right hands, but a sword is only as good as its holder, and well, if you go up against a mage, you're probably screwed, so you know. It would be great in close quarters and absolutely is the perfect tool for the evil Dragonborn type of character, but it doesn't have any long range ability and no way to get you closer to an opponent, only end him swiftly. Mephala herself might be one of the stronger Daedric princes, but in my opinion, this sword is powerful, but not powerful enough to warrant a world level threat, so I'm going to slap its level for you. Now, I think the sword warrants a burden threat level. Knowing it exists and is in the hands of any one person makes it something to always consider when you hear rumors that it might be nearby, but if you know it's not, don't bother worrying. But yeah, that's how powerful I think the Ebony Blade is, and it's entirely up to you whether or not you agree with me, but I feel it just isn't that much of a problem. Just a nuisance, but be sure to let me know if you think differently. So that about wraps up this topic, my friends. I hope you learned something new today, and if not, enjoyed listening to me ramble on about this mystical sword belonging to the Daedric Prince Mephala. She's kind of a bish. If you did learn something new, enjoyed the video, or want to support my content, make sure to leave a like, share the video, or comment a nice thing, or follow me in any of my social crappy bidakis. And if you didn't learn something new, you didn't enjoy the video, or you just don't like me, well, you can always dislike and let me know why in the comments. Either way, ratings help me improve and let me know what you guys liked and what you guys also didn't like, so please be sure to let me know which side you're on. What questions should we look into next and analyze? Any other Daedric weapon specifically that needs some answering, or a boss or character who needs some looking at? Again, the comments are our best friends in this situation, and I'll look at the top voted ones, so we'll see how they're looking. And if you want your comments featured here at the end, just write a witty stupid comment and yeah, we'll put it here, you know. But that's enough babbling. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and if not that, a wonderful week, and if not that, a great month, and if not that, there's an excellent year in advance for you. And I'll see you next time.